So today we are going to talk about canna lilies and how to grow them from seed. So there's a bunch of different types of canna lilies. You can get everything from dwarf size that are probably, I don't know, maybe like 12 to 18 inches to the really tall ones, the giant cannas, like this Mustifolia, which is still growing, but it can grow to be 6 feet plus. And there's a couple of ways that you can propagate them. So you can do it through rhizome division, which is actually pretty quick, or you can do it through the seeds. It's really sunny. So what we have here is we have already like a spent inflorescence here, and what you're seeing here are what is going to become the seeds, so the seed pods. Over time, it's going to look like this. They dry out and they get kind of crispy and crunchy. And that's the time when you can harvest the seeds. If you don't wait and you pick them off before these have turned brown like this, the seeds are not going to be viable. And you're going to be able to tell because when you open it up, the seeds are going to be kind of like this pruny looking thing. They're just not ready. They're not ripe. So the seeds look like this. It's just one seed. And it's got a really hard outer shell. These will propagate by themselves, obviously out in the wilderness, but there's a way that you can fast forward the process, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. So let's go inside because I'm dying out here. It's really, really sunny. All right, so over the last year, which is really when I started to grow cannas, my mother gave me a canna. I have been able to collect and harvest all of these seeds. Now each seed pod from the one that she gave me, which I don't actually know the name of that one, it's like some unknown genus, it produces these pods, and in each pod you have at least, I would say at least 10 seeds. Funny thing about the seeds of the canna though is that even if you have a plant, let's say you have a plant that produces yellow flowers, which is pretty much what happened to us. My mother's cannas were producing these really pretty, bright yellow and orange flowers. And so she gave me seeds, and when I planted them, the flowers actually came out different. So that's something that can happen with cannas. You're not 100% that all the seeds are going to produce the same color of flowers. The only way you can really guarantee that is if you reproduce and propagate through the rhizome. Then you'll know exactly what kind of flower you're going to get. For me, it's really worked out that even though none of the flowers that I've been able to grow look like my mother's flowers, I've still kept on growing them because I still love the leaves and the tropical look of them. And they're pretty fast growers, so you get kind of almost instant gratification. A year ago, if you would have told me that I would have, been growing these and fallen in love with gardening, I would have thought you were crazy. But because I saw such a fast result, I really got interested and really kind of fell in love with watching things grow. So anyway, so today I'm going to show you how to make these seeds grow faster. So there's a process that's called scarification, which basically means that you're going to be taking the outer layer of the seed, which is pretty hard and it takes a long time for it to sprout on its own. You're going to take it and you're going to wear it down so that you can expose like the center portion of it, and you'll know when you've hit it because it'll be white. And then this allows water to get to it quicker, and you'll get sprouts really, really fast. So for me, I've had pretty good success rate with that. The first time I tried it with like, I think it was like a nail file or something, and I did like 50 and my fingers hurt like crazy. And then I tried a different method with just regular old nail clippers. It was just a regular set for me. And I have these gigantic ones. I know I have a smaller pair somewhere, but these are the ones that I could find. My hands are a little oily from lotion. But anyway, so you're going to take this and you're just going to nick it so that you expose that little part of it. And it might take you a few tries because these are hard to get a hold of. So you're gonna wear it down. I can't get it to, I think this one's too big. All right, hold on. I need to find the smaller ones because this one I think is just too chunky for this teeny tiny seed. So pause. All right, so I got a smaller one. So the first try with these, too chunky. So a smaller set is actually better. And so I'm just gonna start to take kind of like the outer corner of this and just start to nick it, and try to be careful not to nick too much of the outer layer to where you might damage the interior part. So I'm just going to continue, and I'm going to do this basically until you can see a little bit of the white part. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Can you see that? Yeah? And you're going to continue to do this with the rest of your seeds. So once you have this nicked until you can just see that white little clearing there, the little space there, just go ahead and drop it in a jar with some water. I'm going to continue doing this. I'll probably do, let's say maybe 10, and I'll show you what they look like before I drop it in there, and I'll show you in a few minutes. Breathing is causing me to break a sweat here. Man, it is humid. Don't cut my fingers. I didn't cut them, but I'm like making these little slits that are just shaving off some of my skin. Don't do that.
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm just covered in sweat. It is such a humid day here in Miami. It is July, and I believe yesterday was the first day of summer. It's felt like summer here for months now. So really dying. But just quickly so I can show you what these are looking like. So these all have like the little slit in them. I think I might have done less than 10. This one has a 2 right there. So all you're gonna do with these now is drop them in water. Make sure that it's a clean container that you're using. And I just leave them out here underneath our covered patio area, and I check on them basically daily just to see what the progress is. But within, I would say 5 to 7 days, so a week, you start to see a little sprout come out of there. I like to leave it until it's really a really noticeable sprout. So I might say maybe it'll stay in the water for 2 weeks before I put them in a little pot, which is what I've done with these two here. So I always like to keep these containers from, Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever it is you're buying things, because it's great for as little growing containers for these types of things. In this pot, I would say maybe it's been a month and a half, maybe 2 months that I put them in here. I put 3 seeds in here, and from there I have 3 sprouts. So these are actually, for me, these are ready to go in the ground. When I did this last year, they were all about this size. I did this to about 50 to 60 seeds, and I would say more than 90% of them sprouted, and I was able to plant them, and they're the ones that are in the front that I'm going to show you in a little bit. They grew really well last year. They grew tall. They grew to about 4 feet, maybe a little bit more. And after they were done, I cut them back down, and they're sprouted again. So they are perennials, and they'll continue to come back. So this is what they look like after a couple months. This is actually a different type of canna. This is a dwarf canna, and I bought this plant, I want to say late last summer, and it gave me flowers, gave me pods. I did the same process, and it also sprouted this one. So this is hopefully going to have yellow flowers. We'll see. But that one's ready to go in the ground too. So in a couple of months, you'll have plants that look like this, and each one of these will produce something basically like this. This is the musifolio, which I love. And as you can see, we've got the 3 stalks out of the 1 rhizome. Each one of these seeds is going to produce 1 rhizome. And out of each 1 rhizome, you're going to get at least 5 stalks usually. So you can do the math. Like it multiplies really fast. They all produce this, so I have more seeds than I know what to do with. Like, I feel like I can make jewelry or something out of this. There's just so many. And each one of them produces. I've really gotten to the point where I cut them off and I toss them or I give them away because it produces a whole lot. All right, so I am going to show you the cannas that already are existing, which you have seen before. These here in the side of the house. This is the west side of the house. These are my canna musifolio that are currently under attack after all of the rain, so I got to take care of that. But I planted these, put these in the ground in, I want to say it was February. And look at how tall this one is so far, and they'll continue to grow. In here there's only 6 rhizomes, and so if you look and you count, there's at least 20 stalks over here. And let's go over to the front. I forgot to mention that I'm in Miami, so I live in a zone 10, I think it's 10B, so these do really well in this zone. You don't have to take them out of the ground to overwinter them here. I think that they're hardy up to zone 8. You can grow them in other zones. You'll just have to take them out of the ground and overwinter them, and then pop them back into your garden once you've had your last frost. I guess we don't have that problem here in Miami. It's pretty tropical heat here. All right, let's go over here. Holy moly, it's just too much. All right, and so this year, these guys need water. Once you give them water, then they're really gracious about it and they show you how happy they are. And so as I mentioned, I did cut them down back to the ground and left them there. I didn't remove the rhizomes. I didn't take them out of the ground and break them up, which I think I'm gonna do once the season is over and they've stopped growing. I'm gonna break them up just as an experiment to see if they grow better. That's it.